There was a time that the Italians, the Jews, the Irish, the Polish, there was a time that these immigrants didn't have white status. The Anglo-Saxon whites, or what you have those who were here, the colonizers, they didn't give white status to the immigrants that came from Europe until they fought for it. The Italians had to fight for it. They had to band together. They had to fight for it. They were discriminated against. The Irish were discriminated against. The Polish were discriminated against. The Jews were discriminated against. There was a time they had to fight for their rights. And when they gained white status, that's when they acquired their monopolies. And while they were fighting for it, they created gangs or organizations or street clubs within their communities. And they fought their way to the top. All while they were for the upliftment of their people. Yeah. They was for the betterment of their people. What's going on with you, so-called black gang? Why aren't you for the betterment of the upliftment of your people? You gotta understand, this gang potty train ain't nothing new. You didn't create this. This was around before you was born. Way before I was born. You got to research the history and see what your true purpose should be. Not only research your history, research the history of others who created and formed gangs in their community. Yeah, they busted each other's heads, they fought. But they were all for the upliftment of their people. And they all grew to become something bigger and better than what they started off as. Yeah, take a look. Check it out. Take a look. Check out what I'm talking about. Coming to you live and direct once again. It's the one and only P. Diablo, aka High Water People. Yeah, you haven't heard me in a while. I've been doing my little comedy. I know many of you never thought I had a sense of humor. If you know me, I've always had a sense of humor. And laughter is very therapeutic. It's a healing process for most. I want to talk about today. I want to talk about, because you hear a lot of, people, talking about gangs, gang, the internet and the media in general, all over, you're hearing about gangs. Gangs have become the new phenomenon. They have really, the media and all the social outlets have really revived gang banging, gangs. And I want to talk about what is the purpose, what should be the true purpose, I should say, of these, I want to call them street organizations. What should be the true purpose of the street organization? What do you mean, what should be the true purpose? Yeah, it should be a true purpose. See, a wise man once said, study man so that thou will know himself. Study man so that thou shalt know yourself. Either way, we have to study people, or different ethnic groups, different nations, different nationalities. Study them so that you will know yourself. What I mean by that, when we look around, let's take Chicago for an example. Let's take the Irish gangs that operated in Bridgeport or Bridgeview. I always get them mistakenly, but Bridgeport, either Bridgeport or Bridgeview, located not too far from the low end, on the south side of Chicago. Let's take the Irish gangs that populated those areas. Oh, they was into everything. They was into some gangsters. Yeah, they were. But look what they later on became. The Irish was able to get the monopoly on the police force, the sheriff department. Yeah, the Irish became the law. They became, look at the dailies. They became the mayor conglomerates. There was a daily empire as far as the mayor machine was concerned in Chicago. Some say they were more powerful than the presidents. The mayor of Chicago, the dailies, they had political connections, and they was in the game. Daily Senior was gang, potty train. Yeah. And the list go on. Let's take the Italians. Oh, they got the construction monopoly now. And we know they started their street gangs at first. Yeah. They became the firemen. Let's take the Jewish gangs, the one who taught them all. Yeah, oh, you didn't know that? You thought the Italians were the origin of this organized crime. No. The Jewish gangs taught the Italians and the Irish how to get down with this gangsters. Yeah. And look what they became. They are the world's financiers. The Italians is not a construction site in the United States. They haven't touched. What I'm saying is, we holler this gang, but it's time to evolve. What should be your true purpose? Shouldn't you be in control of your community? What goes on in your community? I'm not saying be a tyrant in your community. I'm not saying terrorize your community. I'm saying, should you be in control of your community? The finances, the business, the social, economics. Yeah. That's your true purpose, gang. See, we have to elevate, because if we don't elevate, then we look crazy. We look crazy doing the same thing in 2022 that they did back in 1968, 1958, 1948. We look crazy. That means we haven't evolved. And if we haven't evolved, if we haven't grew, then there's something about us that's retarded. Because retarded means slow growth. If I'm doing the same thing my OGs did back in 1948, 1958, 1968, then something about my organization and something about us is retarded. Because we're showing a lack of growth. We're showing slow growth. We should own all the businesses in our community. All the illegal money and all the legitimate money should go hand in hand with the community. The police shouldn't be able to come in our community and shoot us without repercussion. The business owners that are not of us shouldn't be able to come in our community and take advantage of our people. That's not gangster. See, how do we know what's gangster? We know what's gangster by studying others. Seeing how others, how they move, how they carry it. Because if it's the truth, then it's going to be successful. No matter what, you can't go against the truth. How do we know it's the truth? Because the results. We look at the Italians, the Irish. We look at the Russians. We look at any other group. besides the American Negro. And they have monopolies. The Arab have the corner store. That's no strange happiness with that. It's by design that the Arabs own all the corner stores in our community. It's by design that the Koreans own all the beauty supplies in our community. Everybody has a monopoly. The so-called Latino, they're starting to gain their monopoly now. They're starting to put them in position. That means they have gained their white status. What do you mean they gain their white status? White is a status just like black is a status. There's no such thing as white people or black people. White is a status. Black is a status. And we all know what status is black people. We all know they're at the bottom of the bottom. And when I mean black people, I'm talking about the American Negro. They are at the bottom of the pecking order. On the chain of things, on the food chain. They're at the bottom of the bottom. There's no strange happening. It's all designed like that. If you run in your community, if you're an organization that's running your community, you shouldn't terrorize your community. Your community shouldn't be afraid of you. In fact, your community should be able to come to you and say, you know what, I'm $200 low on my rent. Can I borrow $200 and I pay you my next pay period? Or I lost my job. You know, it's hard for me to provide food for me and my wife and my children right now. Can I take a loan? Can I, can I do a little paint? I'm a carpenter. Can I come and do a little work for you guys? You know what I'm saying? We should be able to work as a community. Gangsterism is not just, I can just kill. I can bust heads. I can carjack. I can break in your house. That shouldn't be what we're about. Gangsterism should be about uplifting your community, standing for the liberation of your people, because that's what the Irish did. That's what the Italians did. That's what the so-called Latinos are doing right now. They're standing for the upliftment of their people. That should be our modus operandi. I ain't gonna hold you long. It's been real. It's the one and only P King Diablo, aka High-Watt P-Boy. And the P stand for prosperity. Or please put it in my pocket. Legally. One. It's been real. And I'm out.